Welcome to the Ordinary Marathoner podcast.
Hello and welcome to the Ordinary Marathoner podcast. My name is Scott. I'll be your host today. Got a great show for you today. Got a great guest. I'm going to introduce her in just a moment. As always, you can find this in the back episodes of our podcast at our website called ordinarymarathoner.com. Check it out if you get a chance. You can also find them on the aggregators, places like Stitcher and TuneIn and iTunes. If you like the show, hit that subscribe button. Never miss a new episode that way. If you like the show, also hit that 5-star review button. They really help us out. You know about reviews.
That's right.
They really help us out. So hit that 5-star review button and just help out the podcast a little bit. You can also find our podcast now on the YouTube channel. We're doing the video version. This will be on the video version. So go on over to YouTube. I think it's probably YouTube's /Ordinary Marathoner. Hit that subscribe button there as well. We could always use the support. Really love it. Check out the Ordinary Marathon. We are open for early registration for 2020. We are, I want to thank Nick at Ascension Multisport for donating a Garmin Vivo Active 3 watch. One lucky winner will be raffled off on June 23rd. So register by June 23rd. Hopefully I'll have this podcast out by June 23rd. Register by June 23rd and you will be eligible to win the Garmin watch. Thanks again to Ascension Multisport for that one. Any more on the pregame? I don't think so. So let's introduce our guest. She's an author, an avid cyclist. When I told her I wanted to bring her on the show, she said, but I'm really slow. And I said, that you fit right in here. You're perfect for the show. So welcome, Christina Uss. Thank you. Thank you for coming.
Thank you so much for having me, Scott. I'm happy to be here.
It is amazing to me how many local, I find Ironman finishers and marathon finishers. And now, your book's all over the place.
Yes, I'm so happy to say. My book got published a year ago.
Yep. And the title of it is The Adventures of a Girl Called Bicycle.
And it's the story of a 12-year-old girl who decides to ride her bike across the United States. And what gave me the inspiration for writing it was I got the chance to ride my bike. Not when I was 12, across the United States. I was 22 when I did it.
So, but you probably, when you were writing it, were you like channeling your 12-year-old self?
Yes. The idea that you could just jump on your bike and decide, I think I'm headed to California. And how hard could it be? When I was 22, I thought the same thing. How hard could it be?
You just keep going.
And you just have to keep going.
It's like any race. You just keep going. Don't stop. And eventually you're going to get there.
Give up.
So what made you decide that you wanted to go on this adventure and actually... So was it coast to coast? You got to tell me all this stuff. I have so many questions.
Yeah, so I'll tell you the basics of the ride were, it was a group ride organized by Habitat for Humanity.
Okay.
Every year they were doing a ride where they'd have college kids go from Washington, D.C. to San Francisco.
Wow.
And it was raising money and awareness for Habitat for Humanity's home building activities. Right. So they planned the route. They had places for us to stay every night. And we had a van that drove along. We had 3 volunteers who kind of organized the ride, and one of them would drive every day, and we had all our gear with them.
That's cool.
It wasn't just me taking off with all my gear.
With your backpack.
Which I did later. So I'll tell you about that one. But so the first ride was that.
Yeah, but that sounds like I got to tell you, so I think of doing crazy, because it is crazy.
It is crazy. You have to be a little bit crazy to decide to do it.
I think of doing crazy stuff like that every once in a while, and the logistics always kind of just overwhelm me.
Right.
So it seems like they took a lot of that out of your hands.
Exactly. I didn't have to worry about how am I going to do it.
Yeah.
But then I found out after I did it that there's an organization called Adventure Cycling, Adventure Cycling Association.
Yeah.
And they have maps of specifically for bicyclists of how to get where you want to go in the United States on the best bicycling roads.
That's interesting, because I got to tell you, the thing I fear the most, and I'm sure you had to going coast to coast. You must have had some close encounters. Cars,
right? Less than you would think. And so this was 20 years ago that I did it.
Okay,
it's probably more cars now, but the routes we were on were the least easy way to get from point A to point B.
Yeah,
they were the back roads.
You're not on the highways.
You're never on a highway. You're never on the easiest way to get anywhere.
Right.
So you're on these little country roads.
More miles, but
much more miles.
You get to breathe easy, probably a little bit.
Yeah, we added. I think the estimate is 1,300 extra miles than if we could have gone straight.
That's no joke.
Right?
So how long did it take?
We did it in 2 months. We averaged about 70 miles a day.
That's no joke.
And first day, I get out there. And I wanted to tell you about my training regimen because, holy cow, I was very optimistic. Again, I thought, how hard could it be? Like, they do this every year with college kids. I'm sure it'll be fine. So I trained for half an hour a day. That's all I did.
Okay.
And our first day was 50 miles. Yeah. I've never ridden 50 miles in my life. And
That's a wake-up call, probably.
Way at the back. They donated bikes. So I had a beautiful Cannondale. I had like a 10-speed Schwinn, and then they give me this Cannondale. I didn't know how the gears worked.
Yeah.
And everyone else who had done this, like, they'd been training, and they just took off. I was all the way at the back, and thinking, what have I gotten myself into? And I finished the 50 miles.
You you had to have someone wait for you, someone ride with you?
No, so we all got our maps, our individual maps, and you just followed them.
Was it just like an actual map, or was it like a...
It was an actual map. This is 20 years ago. It was a printed map, yeah. And we had our little map case that's right there. And it wrote out every turn. We started in Washington, D.C., and we took a bike path for like 10 miles out of the city. So
that's nice.
That was beautiful.
Yeah.
And then we were on basically like one road into Virginia. Like, it was, there wasn't a lot to...
All right. So it wasn't like,
track
but still, I mean, 50 miles is no joke for your first day. I mean, you must have...
I cried.
So was it like hours? Was it like, I mean...
It was hours and hours. I no longer, I blocked it out, but I remember calling my mom from the payphone when we we were staying in a church in Manassas, Virginia. And I said, I have made a terrible mistake. And she laughed and she said, I told you so.
Yeah. Well, did she tell you?
She said, why are you want to do this? You're not that good at anything athletic. I'm like, how hard could it be?
But it begs the question, you finish the first day and you have an awful time doing so.
Yeah.
So what makes you wake up on day 2 and say, let's do that again?
Day 2, I thought, today could not possibly be as hard as yesterday. Yesterday was the hardest thing I've ever done. It's got to be better today. And I learned now, anybody who's taken this up, the first 3 days, just expect to suffer. Just expect to suffer. So the second day was worse. I think we did 70 miles. And the third day was the absolute pits.
That was the bottom.
That was it, where I said, I'm giving up and I'm finding a way to fly home. And that's kind of what got me through the day, was when I finish this, I'm giving up. When I finish this, I'm giving up. And when I got to the end of the day, I thought, I still want to see the Rocky Mountains. I still want to see California. I'd never seen any part of the United States. And I thought, okay, I promised myself I'd give up. I'm not giving up. And then the fourth day really was better.
Well, sometimes you just need to kind of like sleep on it. Sometimes you get that little sense of achievement. Like, all day you wanted to quit. All day you wanted to quit. And you kind of, one moment you want to quit, and then the next moment you're there and you finished.
And you think, I just rode, those past 3 days, I did almost 200 miles.
And we talk about this a lot on the podcast. There's this mentality like, when you finish a race that you have, when you suffer through it, and you get through it and you're cursing yourself. Why did I sign up for this? Why didn't I train harder? I'm never doing this again. And then you finish, you get the medal, you kind of chill out, you have a little drink, you do whatever. And then it's, when's the next one?
When's the next one?
Right? And it's like, you're getting that like every single day.
Yeah. Because to some extent, I didn't have a choice. It wasn't like I had, a pocket full of money that I could just be like, take me to
hop on a plane. And
we weren't near any airports. And, it was way easier to keep going. In a sense.
Were you like still kind of in the back of the pack? Obviously the back of the pack. Were you still dead last every day?
I think I was dead last for the entire ride, because even though I got better, everyone else did too, because you're training on the go. But I did find a few people who kind of noticed me back there.
Right.
And then they
hang back a little.
Yeah, they made it their mission to be my friends and
are kind.
Not leave me behind.
I'd say we find this a lot in, I've been podcasting here for like 2.5, 3 years, and you meet the nicest people in these sports.
People.
It's insane. And probably you met a bunch of people and from, so my daughter, Sam, you spoke at her school.
Yes.
Yeah. So what was that all about? Like, how did that,
How did that happen? So when I wrote the book is intended for 8 to 12-year-olds, but anybody who loves cycling would enjoy it. There's references in there to pro cyclists that only people who really love cycling will get.
Maybe Sam will let me borrow the book when she's done.
I think you'd like it. And I knew I wanted to visit schools whenever I could to talk about the book and do bike to school days, which is something I always promote.
Right.
We did one at Sam's school in the fall. I don't know if she got a chance to participate.
Did you ever bike? We can talk to you later.
Oh, yeah.
We're going to bring Sam in later.
Fun. Yes, podcast. We'll talk to Sam later. So whenever I visit a school, I do what I can to say, are you a member of Safe Routes to School, which is the organization that makes sure kids can walk and bike to school. And
well, they do that, don't they? Our town over in Longmeadow, I think they do that a lot.
They do that a lot. And and a couple schools, like Mountain View is now a partner with Safe Routes to Schools. And so I feel like I'm doing my part to help kids get on their bikes
cool.
a little bit.
So, I heard this, and I heard that you spoke at the school, and then Sam actually had lunch with you as well.
Yes, that was so much fun.
And then I'm thinking, all right, so this lady's on a book tour.
Right. Like, how
she's doing like a tour, talking to all the schools, and she's, whatever. And then it turns out that you live here.
Yes.
So I'm like, oh, you got to be on the podcast. And Sam told me that she had lunch with you and that, she enjoyed although tell me if this is true.
Mm-hmm.
So Sam went with us to Lake Placid for the Ironman last year and asked a lot of questions. And, the one question that always comes up, and I don't know how many of these speeches that you've done at schools, but the one question that always comes up when kids ask about a long cycling trip, journey, is how do you pee?
Oh, yes. No, that comes up all the time. Exactly, because they never mention that in the stories. And I'll be honest, it's not mentioned in here. So that you're talking about the kindness of people.
Right.
So when you're on the long journey, you're going to stop at any gas station you can.
Yeah.
But if you're in the middle of nowhere, which a lot of the time you are, you're going to just walk up to people's houses and say, hi, I'm sorry. You don't know me, but can I use your bathroom? And, I'd say 10 times out of 10, I never had anybody say anything other than, where are you riding from? Would you like some lemonade? Tell me your story. And they'd want to give me food to take with me. So it's a way to make friends.
I would say, especially going through that middle America, starting in Washington and going west, you probably have a better chance of meeting. I'm thinking, I think people, I don't know about people here. What do you know?
They're completely awesome here too.
Some, yes, but you might get one or two. Get off my lawn, I don't know.
Maybe it's because
I don't, and I lived in New York and I lived in Boston and. I think city life also has maybe a little bit of, you get a little jaded.
I think it's the city life because, so this was
you got a map.
This is the same route that.
Cookie Lady. I see Cookie Lady.
There's Cookie Lady. So, you go right dead through the middle of the country and everywhere that I stopped. If I stopped, sometimes I'd stop just to lie down. I would just put my bike in the, grass and lie down. And people would stop their cars and be like, you okay? You need something? You want to come to my house? The only place that didn't happen was when we got to San Francisco. That I was lying down by the side of the road and I was exhausted. And I did need help. I think I needed directions because mine weren't quite right.
Off, right.
Nobody ever stopped to ask me what was up. And I thought, this is a different world than I've been in for the past 4,000 miles. Yeah. So there was something about when people see a person on a bicycle.
Yeah.
Their walls come down a little bit.
Yeah.
I really do think that.
So what was, out of all the stories that are in the book, do you have one favorite or is that too hard to pick?
I know. Would it be so from the stories in the book, some parts
apparently
of the book,
there's a Cookie Lady that you...
Yeah, some parts of the book are true and based completely on my experiences. One of those is the story of the Cookie Lady, who is a person who really exists. And if you ride the Trans-America Trail of the Adventure Cycling has this map, the Cookie Lady is right on that trail. Yeah. And yet, she is one of the great all-time stories because when I go to schools and I say... this is a real person, everybody invariably goes crazy and says there's a lady. And so it's this road in the Blue Ridge Parkway in Virginia, one of the steepest hills you'll find anywhere.
Right.
This woman, June Curry, lives on that hill, and unbeknownst to her, they mapped out that this was the best way for cyclists to go through her area. And she'd see these people on bikes every day coming by, sweating, looking like they want to die. One guy just fell over with his bike and was just sitting there I give up. And she was baking biscuits for dinner, and she told her daughter, like, go out there and get that poor man a biscuit.
That's great.
Then she started seeing more people. She's like, I got to get them cookies. They mean something, these poor people. And eventually she became known to all the cyclists who go on that trail as the cookie lady.
That's not a bad thing to be known as.
Oh, she's wonderful. And she would say, anybody come in, and she would have hundreds of cookies. She'd buy giant packages of Chips Ahoy and Fig Newtons, and she said, I don't want you to pay me. Just send me a postcard when you get where you're going.
So did you?
Oh yes. Everybody sends the cookie lady a postcard. And her whole house is plastered. Postcards all over the world, because people would then go home to Vietnam and send her a postcard.
That's a great story.
Isn't that a great story?
It's so funny because, we don't really talk about it too much on the podcast, but sometimes you kind of look to how you're going to make your impression on the world. And you want to, you write a book. That's a great thing. You take a journey, you write a book. Right. But something as subtle as baking cookies or making cookies, giving them out, and then all of a sudden you have all this.
You're world famous.
Yeah.
For making the world a better place.
Yeah. I mean, that's a great, there are worse things to be known for.
Right. I said, if we ever get a trail that comes through East Longmeadow where lots of cyclists, I mean, you know what? Honestly, I have a lot of people coming up my road. I want to put like a little something out there, like a little water station. So if you just want to get a little drink, just be one of those nice people.
It's incredible. So now you mentioned to me when I met you, or when we first talked, that you were slow.
Oh yeah.
That was I think that was your comment so I guess my question is, over the course of doing rides,
right,
are you getting any better?
Am I getting any faster? Slightly, yes. I definitely have.
Yeah.
Practice makes better. But I think in my heart, I am an endurance cyclist. I think I discovered that about myself.
Yeah.
You tell me I have to go 100 miles. The first time we rode a few centuries on that ride.
Wow.
I was fine with it. Like, it didn't kill me the way that trying to keep up for 50 miles does.
Right.
So I found out I can keep going and keep going and keep going. So
that's
I think
not a bad thing. Yeah.
That's my talent for cycling.
That's great.
I always have a shirt. A sloth shirt.
I have this wonderful shirt that says, I'm part of the sloth cycling team. And it says, we'll get there when we get there. And it has a sloth on the bike. And that's me. Like, I will get there.
Yeah.
But I'll get there in my own time.
So you train a lot around here then? Or do you not, are you like, because I know people who, it's like, why do you sign up for so many races? Well, because I hate training. So are you like, do you have to do these journeys in order to get up and get moving, or do you actually train a lot around here?
Yeah, the thing that gets me going now, since in fact, I should tell you, after I did this cross-country ride, I became an adventure tour guide. That was my job, was taking people cycling.
Yep.
Because I'd seen so many beautiful things. I said, I got to do this.
Yeah.
So I did a ton of riding every single day. And then I moved out here. I had kids. Of course, not riding anywhere near as much. The only way I could get out since then is I have to set myself practical things that I have to do while on my bike. I'll say, I'm going to do my grocery shopping on my bike today. So I can't just say, like, I'm going to go for a training ride, because I will not go out. I won't.
So
probably
you ride to the Big Y and stuff?
Yes, exactly. Ride to the Big Y, load up with everything.
I was just going to say, don't you have to limit yourself, like what you get? Like
I have these great panniers for my bike. I have I can fit tons of stuff.
And you can balance all right? You're okay?
Yeah, I can ride with 100 pounds of stuff.
Wow, that's impressive.
So that's like how I do it.
And then geez, I hope you don't have any hills going on the way home.
There's this one hill coming up from the rotary.
By the way, I just want to point out, she says she's slow. I mean, but come on. Come on here. You're riding up a hill with 100 pounds of groceries.
Yes, but so we had I have my bike. Oh my gosh, what do you call it? The computer that tells you how fast you're going. Like, my goal is how slow can I go but still remain upright? So I'm at 1.6 miles, and people with their strollers are passing me going up the hill, and I'm like, yeah. I'm like, but I'm still upright. I'm still pedaling.
Yeah. I always so when I did Ironman Maryland, I kind of had a similar experience where I was just going, and the wind was in my face, and I was pushing the pedals as hard as I could.
Headwind is the worst thing.
It was bad. And the worst is you're pushing the pedals as hard as you can, or, and you look down and you're like, hey, normally when I push at this exertion level, I go 15, 16 miles an hour, and you look down, you're going 7, and you're like, it's just so, and there's no hill.
And there's no hill. It's not like you're going to get to the top and suddenly it's going to be better.
It's just you don't know when this is going to stop. And I remember there was like a little S in the road, right? So you're going, and they had these two people who must be locals and know the course. Mm-hmm. And they basically had a sign that said, short tailwind. Because just for like a split second, you turn around and go that way.
Enjoy it.
Enjoy the tailwind. And you just get it for like 2 seconds. But I remember thinking the same thing. I remember thinking, I'm going to be on this bike until I either tip over and fall over or until I finish by accident.
Good for you. That's got to be part of doing something like an Ironman.
Just finish by accident.
And my character, her name is Bicycle. She's way faster than I am. She's a better bicyclist than I am. She ends up in Kansas, where people always warn you about the winds if you're going to be biking across Kansas. Uh-huh. And you just never know. Is it going to be a tailwind? No. You know what? That should have been a worry.
Right, there you go. But
it's for tailwinds or headwinds. And people said, you're going from east to west. You're going to have headwinds the whole time. They were wrong. We had tailwinds.
Right. Wow, lucky.
The entire state, I swear. And I thought, I have become the most amazing bicyclist in the world. Because I'm doing 20 miles an hour without even trying. And then somebody's like pointing out that the tailwind really makes a big difference. I'm like, no, it's me. I'm amazing. And then when one day we didn't have, I'm like, oh my God,
something happened.
It's the tailwind.
Must be tired today.
But that was a good time if you ever get a chance to bike across Kansas.
Yeah.
And you get a tailwind. It's awesome.
Yeah, I'm just worried about the twisters. I get worried about everything. Like around here, the bear.
Oh.
The bears are all over, especially in Connecticut. So do you ever ride Farmington Canal Trail?
Oh, yeah, sure.
So I do that one all the time. That's like my go-to because, like I said, I don't like riding in the street. I refuse to ride in the street. So I go to the Farmington Canal Trail, and I take that from Westfield down to Plainview, Connecticut, and back. It's 65 miles.
Yeah, it's so great.
It's a good ride.
It's so great.
It's a good ride. I think now that I've ridden it a whole bunch of times, like I'm starting to get a little grumpy and picky about spots that they leave that are bumpy. Some bumpy spots. I don't know how often you ride it, but in Suffield there's some really bad spots, and lately there's been a couple bear sightings in Farmington. Someone said to me the other day, they're like, oh, be careful of the pedestrians on the bike. And I'm like, no, I'm thankful for the pedestrians because I know that I can be faster than them if we see a bear.
I'm not afraid of bears when I see a pedestrian.
I know, yeah. Hey, I'm safe.
I love that.
So I don't know. Well, listen, let's take a break for a moment. We'll see if we can reel Sam back in here and talk a little bit more about your book.
Sounds good.
All right. All right, we're back here with Samantha. I want you to lean in a little bit. There you go, so you could be on the video. So, Sammy.
Yes.
Christina was at your school.
Yes.
What'd she talk about?
Her book.
That's true.
Well, and I think, one of the things that, and I'm wondering if this was one of your original sort of goals, or if you thought about this, or if you just wanted to write a book that was interesting or what. But Sam actually reads this book.
That's all I would ever hope for in life. Like the fact that I am seeing a real person who really chooses to read my book. Like I don't need anything more.
I saw a lot of copies at
Barnes and Noble.
Yeah, they had tons. I know. Right?
Yeah. When I wrote the book, I just envisioned what I was like as a kid. I really liked reading funny stories that made me wonder if grown-ups weren't telling me everything. Like maybe there's somebody out there who gives cookies away. Maybe there are ghosts that could haunt your bike. Like who knows what might be out there. And so I wanted to write a book like that makes you wonder what's real and what's not.
So it's been like pulling teeth with her to read. And I talk about this on
You're like, it has not.
Yeah. YouTube.
It's hard work.
And Roblox.
Oh, there's a lot of fun things to do.
And she's been doing good on the book, and I, every so often I make sure to take out the bookmark and see what page that she's on. Although she probably knows that I do that, so she might just move the bookmark forward. I know your tricks. So I guess
I actually never did that before.
Let's talk in the mic, kiddo.
Kitty.
Everyone's here. Jorah makes some visits on the podcast every once in a while.
Cats
too.
and books. Good things.
Well, he jumps right on the counter.
You want me to put him on the counter?
No, just leave him. So I guess did you when you wrote the book, did you think like maybe it would have this kind of impact on people, or did you just
I just
Uh-oh.
hoped that like at least one person would read it and enjoy it. I had like low expectations, and then the editor who purchased it, she was so excited about this book because she's like kids and bike adventures. She's like there literally is no book for 8 to 12-year-olds with an adventure quite like this. That's really centered on getting on your bike and just going.
Well, you know, I gotta say too, just the map itself. Yeah, we got for those of you guys just listening to the podcast, Jorah is just walking across the table, and he always puts his butt towards the camera too.
That's politeness in cat world.
They know where the camera is. They know. All right. You know, so you got the map in there too, and you know, it's just another thing, like you know, geography, like learning about, you know. All right, listen, we're gonna have to.
We might have to
We're
move
gonna
her
take
away
care
from
of this guy.
away from the mic.
There you go.
There you
Gotta
go.
put him down there.
Yeah, I got him. You know, so the map. I think the map helps. I mean, it's like
I love a map in a book, and I remember saying when I was growing up, if you opened up a book and you saw a map of like maybe a fantasy world or something, I'm like, yes, the Hobbit maps. I'm like, I'm reading this book. Like,
I
if
read
it has a
book
good
like
map,
that before. I think it was like something the land.
some kind of land.
Does
Land
Narnia
of
have one?
Stories, or maybe Narnia might have one.
No, it doesn't have one.
But yes, that was I was so happy when the publisher said, we're so putting a map in here. I said, I love you people.
It's definitely you know, a good addition, and you know, I don't know. I think so far from a parental point of view, that's a win. I mean, I don't think I've ever heard my daughter come home from school and say, we got to go to Barnes & Noble and not want Legos.
You have just brought enormous joy to my life. Every author who writes for kids, like we just hope kids will like our books. I mean, we don't have any other agenda. We just, and then when we find out kids are picking them up and reading them, we just go and dance in our houses. And so if you read other books that you like, find a way, if you can like find their websites and send them like a little email with your parents' approval to just be like, I really like this. If that's all you say, they'll be like partying for days. Like
that's like when the people send the postcards to the cookie lady.
Yeah,
right?
It's exactly
makes her
like
day.
that. It makes her day. She feels
Right.
like she's done something.
I think that's great. And so is the book, so I mean, tons of copies in Barnes & Noble.
Tons of copies in Barnes & Noble. So it's been out a year. And so far, like the way they track the sales, it's hard to know how much it's sold up to this point. But the first half of the year, it sold 13,000 copies.
Oh my God.
It's on the Texas state list. It's on the Vermont state list. It's on the Maine state list. So people really are reading it.
Wow. And when is it out for a year?
So it's out for a year. So I won't know the second half of the year sales stuff, but the publisher says it's still going strong.
I was just wondering, like, if there were a lot of copies here because it was East Longmeadow, or is it
it's
Barnes & Noble everywhere?
Yeah, it's at Barnes & Noble everywhere.
Wow.
And
congratulations.
It's crazy. And when I travel, because I don't go to school visits all over the place, and I always try to get a bike ride in when I'm there. I was just in Wisconsin for the first time, and the biking was great. And I went into the bookstore, the local bookstore, to see if they had my book, and thanked them and signed the book, and went to the library and thanked them. And, just so that it's out wherever I go, I can usually find a copy. And
That's
I'm like,
awesome.
How is that possible?
You're global.
So far, just the
Domestic.
U.S. and Canada.
But that's good enough.
Yes, and
For now.
they bought it in Russia, so they're going to be a Russian translation.
What?
I know.
Wow.
I'd asked them to send me a copy. I don't
You can't even
Russian.
read it.
I know, but I just want to see it. I want to see what this looks like in
wow.
Russian Cyrillic writing.
They could learn it.
And then maybe I will have to take Russian lessons so I can read my own book.
Well, we so when Ellie, our daughter, upstairs, 6 months when she was born, we said,
Can't say our daughter. I'm not your wife.
"You got a little
I
attitude."
knew what he meant.
So when she was, this is totally off topic. Jeez, this is insane. This is without a doubt the most hectic show
We've ever had.
Yes.
I'm happy to be
you
part of this.
So we said that we didn't want her to watch a lot of TV. Mm-hmm. So the only way we let her watch TV is if she watches Chinese cartoons, right?
And Sam's face, I wish you could. You can
she's
see.
like she's
The
but it's the
sadness.
truth. Yes.
So what Chinese
So
cartoons? Like in
annoying.
Chinese?
Yes, they're all these songs. So now, inadvertently, we all know these Chinese songs. We have absolutely no idea what we're singing.
But you're singing? Oh, that's exciting. Someday you're going to get in trouble.
Well, I think our kind of our thought is like one day we're going to be maybe at a restaurant or somewhere, and someone's going to like speak Chinese to us, and she'll know exactly what they say.
I think this is an excellent plan and it is going to work.
I'll be
What do you
like,
think? Maybe I could write a book about this.
Yes.
There you go.
Raising my daughter, Chinese cartoons. We will figure out a better title than that. But
I don't know. That was just our thought. But, it was, I don't even know how I got there. How did we get here?
That would be torture for me. Because
I guess I was.
music is so annoying.
interesting. At least
You
Chinese
sing-
cartoon
you sing
music.
it every day.
I do. I enjoy it.
And things for 6-month-olds definitely are not that appealing to. Are you 10 years old?
Yes.
Yes. Not the same
Yeah,
appeal.
that's not your demographic at this point anyway. You're like
Sing it.
8 to 12, right?
Sing
Yeah.
it.
8 to 12.
Yeah, the
Things are
6-year-old,
working for you.
6-month-olds.
This is.
It's amazing. And I have another book I'm working on now that it's coming out next year.
Yeah.
Same publisher, but it's a different bunch of characters.
Yeah, you told me.
And in that one, the bicyclists are on the side of evil. That's
Ooh,
I
evil
know,
bicyclists.
evil bicyclists. They mean well, but
Yeah.
they're making bad mistakes.
I watched this show, and this guy is kid is like in this family is a like scientist, and he makes evil robots.
Evil robots.
But that's not what it's all about.
It's just a side character. I like that.
So what do you think, Sam? Do you think you like the book? Yeah, you're gonna finish it?
Yeah, I'm on page 38.
38. You still got a ways to go, but she's been moving. We've got it.
307 pages.
She opened it just a couple days ago, and
And since Sam and I were at school together and I talked about the things that are true in the book and the things that I completely made up, you're going to know things. When you get to chapters and you read about certain things, you'll be like, oh, yeah.
I went to the part where she like escapes the bus or something like that.
Yes. So my character needs to escape from something so she can head off on her journey to go meet the person she wants to meet, who's the most famous bike racer of all time.
I
Yes.
can't wait to see is that a real name though? Did you throw a real name on that?
All right. So the name of the bicyclist is an unpronounceable name. I don't know if you remember this.
okay.
He's a Polish bike racer,
Okay.
Zbigniew Sienkiewicz, and nobody can say his name.
Is he real?
Just call no.
Okay. Because you mentioned you put some real names in there.
Yes. Yeah, no, they're all. You
can
really
pronounce
do.
it.
You really do have to read it. Yeah, I can pronounce it because I'm Polish American. So I put in a
All right,
crazy
there you
name
go.
to
There you
be
go.
on purpose.
That's great. Listen, I wish you all the best of luck with the book.
Thank you so much.
It seems like it's doing really great. And I can't believe we have another famous person in East Longmeadow.
sort of famous. Yes, East
famous. I
Longmeadow, the
give you
source
famous.
of so many amazing people.
Yeah, I mean,
Like
you guys
your
want
family.
to, you want to, you want to become famous.
East Longmeadow's
East
a place
Longmeadow's
to
a
be.
place to be. Who
Yeah.
knew? Who knew?
knew?
I don't know. But thanks a lot. Well, I already know at least one person picking up your book.
Yeah.
Told me today. It's like on the way home and grab that book.
Thank you.
There you go.
That's terrific.
So wish you all the best of luck, and can't wait to read the next one too.
Sounds good.
Excellent. All right, we're gonna call it quits there. You got anything else to add?
The cookie lady.
The cookie lady should be a recurring character in every.
Oh, and you were asking
mention
me if I
every
rode
book.
my bike to school.
Oh,
we
did you?
You want to talk about that quick?
Well, I didn't, but I did walk with my friend.
Oh, because we did walk and bike. We
Walk
said
and
you could
bike,
choose
right.
to walk or bike.
I'm walking to school and home tomorrow also.
Yeah.
Oh, good for you.
You're a big walker. You're a big walker.
That's great.
But her mom was pretty close to school. Not close, but closer. We're
Sadly-
not walking distance from here.
Right.
But,
I was going to think
Sadly-
you could go.
yeah, that's pretty far.
It's be a pretty
Sadly,
long
all
walk.
my neighbors are like in my school, and all my neighbors are boys.
It'd
Sadly.
be way more fun if your good friends lived like right next door.
But like my friend, I could walk to her house.
Oh, that's good. Yeah, we do not. We have to bike to friends' houses. We're far enough away from them. But that's good because then if we want to go visit friends, we have to get on our bikes.
So we're gonna message Christina when you finish reading
book.
it, which better be by the time we get home from Lake Placid. I'm gonna give you a cap.
When do you
All right,
go there?
July 28th. So we got a month.
You can always send me like questions and stuff too if it helps keep you. If you're like,
Yeah, we got
Just-
contact.
is this
now.
real?
Yeah, I don't know. You want to offer that? Yeah. You might get like messages throughout the day.
Okay, that just sounds fun though.
Awesome. Thanks again. Thanks so much. I wish you all the best of luck. And everyone, remember, when it comes to running, I'm no expert. I'm just ordinary.
Save your life, you're extraordinary. Remember to like our video and subscribe to our channel.